So I'm outside here on Saturday the 17th. It's been raining all week since I got back from Oklahoma, and I'm not digging in the dirt. Well, I am, but I'm not digging in that dirt. I have been outside working today. Got that pile of brush from up there down into here and then back over here because I need to start moving stuff around up there so I can get stuff planted. But some things have changed in the past 2 weeks, so I thought I'd give you a quick tour. This is a broccoli plant that Katie bought last year, I don't know, September, early October, something like that. There were several of them. They really didn't do well. It was just too late in the year, but I kept watering them anyway. This is the one that got the biggest. Really didn't produce much. The florets were really small. But since I've always been curious how broccoli plants produce seeds, I decided to let this go and see what it would do. So that florets will branch out and fan out and produce these flower pods, and once the pollinators get done with them, then they'll produce little bean pods. In fact, I just noticed that it's doing that right here. So these flowers are going to drop off, and inside this little bean pod there will be the seeds, which is kind of cool. Some aphids there. And over here is the Egyptian onion, or walking onion, or it's also called a topset onion. It doesn't produce a bulb underneath that's really usable, but it'll produce like a green onion or a bulb or a bunch of bulbs up on top of the stem. That's why they call them a topset onion, or also a walking onion, because when it produces, it'll fall over, and that's how they propagate themselves in nature. They're very easy to take care of as long as you have good soil and water them. They'll just do their thing. Then you can break apart bulbs and keep them going. And they're really hot. They will make you cry. Right now I'm going to step off here without falling. Okay, what else do I got? A few weeks ago, I took some cuttings off of the grapes and put them in these containers, and they're just, let me see if I can get one, just starting to show signs of budding out. And all I did was fill these with sand. It's something my mother said that her father did years ago. I guess the way he did it literally was just take these and stick them in sand and keep them wet, and that's all I've done. They're not growing as fast as the established grapes, but if they actually produce a leaf, then I guess I'm probably good to go. I don't know how long to keep them in there before I take them out, though. The Stockton red onions, no sign of any big bulbs yet, but in another month or so, I'll check them again. Katie strawberries are starting to bloom out a little bit. And this is loganberry that we got a couple years ago in Point Reyes in California, which is kind of northwest of San Francisco. And I brought those from the old place and had never planted them anywhere, but they're still alive. They're very hardy, so we'll see what they do. This pot here is just another Egyptian onion that I never put with the other set. The kale is going to seed. I don't know if it's going to do the exact same thing as the broccoli, but that's a nice seed head there. I guess it's going to flower out. I don't know. There's another one over here that's doing the same thing. We cut a bunch of this off and made some kale chips today. And I've got, and I don't know, you'll be able to see them, but beets. These are called bull's blood. I got 3 rows. I've got these boards here to keep the rain off them because they kind of came up spindly. I've never planted beets before, and I wanted these to keep the rain from knocking them over too much. Potatoes. These are Lesotho Reds in through here. I just finished this morning putting some mulch and hilling up around them with dirt, and as the plants grow and get taller, I want to put a lot of mulch around these, because when this sand gets wet and then the water evaporates, that sand gets really tight, and I don't have anything in this soil really nutrient-wise to keep the soil loose, so I'm just using leaves that I've gathered, and hopefully that'll create pockets that'll allow the water to sift through and keep the sand from tightening up around them. So Lesotho Reds here, these are the russets that I got. I just bought some russets, organic russets at the store. We ate a few of them. I'm not sure that I really like them. Russets are kind of dry and a little crumbly. The Lesotho Reds are a lot more moist potato. So I might do these once just to see what they will do, and probably won't ever do them again. I've got, this is called Romanesco broccoli. Some call it a cauliflower. There's another one here. I've got a couple of live plants and a few seeds here. Romanesco, spelled like it sounds. You can look it up on the internet to see a picture of it. And then we've got a couple apple trees. There's one here. This one that's a Fuji. And that other one should be a Granny Smith. And then we've got a couple of peach trees up here. Fay Alberta. And this one, the rain is starting to let up a little bit. This one is called a Last Chance. And the reason we got two different ones is because this Last Chance will set on about a month later than the other. So it gives us a better opportunity to harvest them at different times and not lose so much. The fruited mulberry tree is starting to bloom a little bit. I haven't been able to get back out here and prune it up. We've got a cherry tree here. This is called a cherry bomb. It's got 4 different cherries grafted to it. They're starting to bud out. Looks like they're all going to come out at once pretty much. This one is called a fruit splash. It's got 2 peaches, a nectarine, apricot, and a plum on it. And after we got it, this branch split, and it split down the trunk, about down to here. So I taped it up, put some tie wraps around it to make it more secure. I'm going to take the tie wraps off eventually, probably pretty soon, because as that trunk grows in diameter, it won't move the tie wraps, but it'll move the tape. I checked with a nursery. It may take up to a year for this to graft itself back, if it's going to live at all. I kind of see some buds here, but I'm not really sure. This branch here is still kind of soft. I was curious at one time if it was going to live, or if it was still alive rather, and so I wanted to cut the top off, but I didn't want it to bleed out since it was already stressed enough with the break down here. So I cut it. It was still green inside here and wet, and I took this piece of aloe vera off the aloe vera plant down there, and it had the goo back in here. This is about 4 or 5 weeks ago that I did this, and I just shoved it on top there, and that made a natural seal around that wound, and it healed it nicely. Probably don't need that on there anymore. Some of these grapes over here are budding out. This one isn't, but we've got a couple others here that are. This one is right here and up here. And then the almonds are are coming in too. This one not quite as vigorously as the other. There are some nuts here. You see one right there. But I don't have quite as much green foliage coming out on this tree as on the other almond tree. This one, you can see more uniformity in the blooms and then the nuts that have formed here. This grape is also starting to bud out. I'm not a master pruner. I've got a lot to learn, but this is just starting to bud out all over, so I have no idea what they're going to do, how many grapes they're going to produce. And let's go back in here, take a look at the other potatoes, because these are kind of going hog wild on me, and I really need to get out here and hill these up. What I like about these leaves, these are the Royal Majesty Blue, and the leaf here is a wee bit different shape and a lighter green color than the others. And these came up first of all the potatoes that I planted. These are just beautiful plants. And look at that. Pointed leaves, but then interspersed in here are some smaller, more round leaves. This is nice. And then somewhere in here, I don't remember which rows or which, but I've got reds over here, and then I've got the Yukon Golds, and then the blues. Yukon Golds, I was never happy with the number of eyes that I got on them, so I'm not sure how many of those I'm going to get or how many I'm going to keep. They were large potatoes with very few eyes, and I thought that kind of strange. These over here are Lesotho Reds from last year's garden that I kept. Just kept them in the refrigerator. I kept the smallest ones, and a few of them I cut up, and the rest of them I just used whole. And I've got an empty spot here. I've got a bare spot right here because I had a gopher come over from this direction, and he came all the way across here, and it came straight through the garden here, and then he disappeared there under the fence. I haven't seen a new hole in about a week and a half since before I left for Oklahoma, and I don't know if that means he went over to the neighbors or what happened, but I'm just glad he's gone. But I think he affected some of my crop. And that's it. I'm still going to do a few things today. And here's another grape. This is just a volunteer here that found its way into the ground and took root. And let's see if there's anything else. I don't think so. It's actually not a bad day for working outside.